At the risk of being flogged for going off canon, I think if they're going to make a series about the Bene Gesserit, they need a series about Mentats too. Yeah, that would be very fascinating. I don't know. I feel like there's definitely room there for so many things to dive into this mythology. And for me, I personally, when I first heard about the Bene Gesserit series, I was hoping what they initially announced it as, it sounded like it was going to be a prequel of sorts, but kind of close to the story of Dune, the timeline of that. And they didn't announce it at first as a prequel, so it sounded like it was just going to be a window into the Bene Gesserit and how they operate. And that sounded fascinating, especially at this time when they're at the height of their power and influence, and seeing all these different branches of the Sisterhood manipulate the powers that be. And I think that could have been a much more fascinating look to me, as far as just a prequel. It's like, oh, this is how this happened, and this is how this happened. I think there could have been some room there with creative interpretation as far as Frank Herbert's part goes, because he did leave room for mystery and creative interpretation for the reader. Like I was saying about Gurney versus the Beast that they're teasing for Dune Part 2, that would be a deviation from the source material, but as far as Gurney Halleck's character goes. But for Beast, though, it's just wide open for interpretation. And so I do understand that. And I think from a visual standpoint, from this particular medium of film, it would make sense for such an integral character to see the conclusion of their story on screen. And that's what previous creators felt as well, that it was necessary to portray. So yeah, I'm all for the mystery was there. Frank Herbert didn't explicitly say, which I like. I like how he leaves some mystery for the reader to ruminate on and dwell on. And I think it makes for great fan discussions as well. But about the Mentats too, that would be very fascinating. Especially with Dune Part 1, there was a lot of lore that wasn't present as far as the world building lore. Like, why are Mentats necessary? So in that conversation with Reverend Mother and Paul, that first conversation with them, she's the one that kind of paints the picture of the political landscape and just the universe itself, about the history of humanity. And they kind of miss out on that. And they talk about the Mentats as well. They talk about those schools that were developed to advance human talents. And I really miss that. I miss that part of that scene, but excellent otherwise. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people who aren't aware of the source material are missing out on the uniqueness and the rich lore of this universe. So that would be fascinating as well. Maybe they'll look into that. Hope Sisterhood works out. Histories of the Sardaukar as series. Oh, like a TV series? Oh, that'd be interesting. People love the Sardaukar. And I totally understand why. They're awesome. Yeah, there's so many things. So many cool things to explore within this universe. It's just a matter of if they can do it. If you have the qualified people to have that intimate knowledge, but also who's qualified to translate it into a visual medium. I do think a series format would be very nice to go into for Dune. So I am excited that there's going to be more long form series, but I kind of wanted a series that would continue the story of Dune, kind of capitalize off that momentum. Histories of the Sardaukar, that would be fascinating.